Hello everyone,
Hello.
welcome back to the channel, this amazing channel and our enthusiasm.
We put out a thing on Instagram and wherever a couple of weeks ago, maybe, just asking for questions. Like, if you've got a question you want to ask us, it doesn't have to be about photography or from just anything. If you want to hear for some reason what our opinion is on something, ask us. And we got a load of answers. So we picked like 4 that we wanted to answer.
Some of them were somewhat similar and some of them were kind of about front, but we'll do another video on that specifically around like updates of what front is and where we're at with that. I mean, we can give a little update about what we're working on at the moment with front, I guess.
Yeah, well, I think in a couple of weeks' time, we might be able to give more of a detailed update on what we're doing. But for now, we are still working on it, and we are trying to tie everything down to get an actual date for when we can go live. Because at the moment we know that people are asking us, and we don't have an answer for that other than it'll be quite soon, and it will be quite soon.
Yeah, it's not a long-term thing. It's definitely in the foreseeable future, the short-term future.
Yeah, and we just want to get it live now, but we want it to be as good as possible.
We're tweaking it where we can, and then obviously we just got to make sure everything works.
Setting up a load of like legal framework and a load of things like that, kind of more businessy, boring stuff.
So in terms of not front, we have now recorded a fair few podcasts. Yeah. So yeah, thank you for everyone who was actually listening to this as well. But yeah, we've got podcasts recorded with our ambassadors. What have we put out up to this point? So we've got
just Sophia, Madison, and IU.
So
record. I've got a nail down Christian. So Christian, if you're watching this,
yeah, let us know when you're free, mate.
He did say he'd do it, but he said that he felt the one with Irish was so good he couldn't do a better one than that.
He could do one with his missus, because his missus is a good photographer as well.
Great, yeah.
Maybe we could do a little co-team, but we've pre-recorded one with Bray now. We've done one with Josh Francis, the photographer Josh Francis. We've done one with Josh Thorpe, who's local to us, but he's an inspiration with what he's working on.
Well, yeah, we did one with Josh Astrop.
Astrop, what did I say? Althorpe.
That's another Northampton institution.
Sorry, Josh.
But they're kind of people who are just photographers that we like. They're not like people who are super well known or anything like that. But that is quite a good point in that we want to speak to anybody on this. So if anybody's got something, if they just want to come on and talk about their photography journey, just tell us and we'll speak to you. But if you've got anything in particular you'd like to chat about, that you're working on a project, or you just want to talk about something and you think it would be relevant to what we're doing, we don't care if you've got like 0 followers on Instagram, or anything like that. We just want to talk to people.
Obviously, what we're trying to do is hopefully going to help the community. We want to talk to anyone and everyone. There's so many good artists out there, which we see on a daily basis when we're posting your work or just looking through it. Yeah, we're blown away by the quality of the work. So yeah.
It's like if you're just getting started and you want to talk about something and you're happy to jump on and have a chat with us for half an hour or so, let us know.
We say half an hour, we end up talking for about 3 hours, but you don't have to stay on. You can cut us off if you don't like us.
Yeah.
Cool, yeah. Enjoy the episode. Drum roll, please. Which film stock do you wish to come back, and why is it a pack film? What's that?
Well, let's just answer the first bit of it. And my answer to that is, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm just going to say Colour Plus 200, because I do love Colour Plus 200. And like I said, I feel like it's just a throwaway film, isn't it? But
it's there, isn't it? You can buy it. You just...
Oh, you mean one that you can't buy anymore?
I think that's what they're saying. Which film stock do you wish to make a comeback? I mean, the one that everyone wants at the moment is that Fuji. What's the Fuji one that went out? They've stopped making it. Pro 400H. About that 400 is it's one of them films that when you see like the samples of it, it looks great and you think, oh wow, I want to shoot that film, but you can there's probably like loads of different films that you can get that would produce a similar kind of look. It's a bit of a kind of like Velvia is like a Fuji film. One, and there's another one which is basically similar kind of look. You've got like these kind of bright but not blown out colours. When they discontinued that Fuji film, like it made everyone go mad for it and start buying
expired
eBay, paying extortionate amounts of money for. I saw rolls listed at like 50 quid on eBay, and I'm sure people were paying it. Thing is, I might be wrong, I'm pretty sure they're still making it until like November. It'll just be really hard to get hold of, but people are going mad. I've never shot it before, and it did make me look at it and go, I want it, like I want to buy some. But I'm pretty sure there's probably half a dozen other films made by different companies, or even other Fuji films that have that kind of look. The one that I wish, the sort of film I wish that we could buy and process more easily is that kind of chrome and like you've got that Kodachrome.
Yeah.
They get Ektachrome, which you can still buy, but I think it's not as simple to process. Is that right?
I thought Ektachrome was the one that you can. Oh no, I think you're right, because there is a film stock that. So I'm sure there's a black and white film stock as well that you can develop in colour.
Yeah.
Chemicals. Yeah, the Ilford whatever it is. Yeah.
Ilford XP2. So like that's an interesting one because I know now that developing black and white film is really easy and is widely done by film labs. But like when I started shooting on film, again, like 10 years ago, I just used to buy whatever colour films in Jessops, wasn't too fussed about it, and would take it into Jessops to get it developed, and then after a while I started looking around for somewhere that was more like a little local place. I used to I worked in Wandsworth and I found a lab in Balham.
Yeah.
And they processed everything a bit more cheaply. It was a little independent place. Unfortunately, it's closed down now. But when I first spoke to them and said, "Oh, I've got some black and white film to develop," it was like, "Oh, black and white. Oh, I don't know, mate. I don't know." And I looked on it and I went, "Oh, well, it's C41." And he was like, "Okay, fine, can do that." But
it's cheaper, isn't it? Right, to dev in colour.
I guess it was just, well, yeah, once you set up for it in your lab, that's this straightforward thing to do. But now it's not really any question. I think it costs a little bit more to get an actual black and white film rather than a C41 black and white film developed, but it's still widely available. But yeah, 10 years ago, it was real like, oh, I don't know about that when you try and get it done. So luckily, I didn't realise at the time that like there was different types of black and white film. That there was different processing options, and there's actual black and white film, or there's like colour black
and white. Yeah.
Yeah, where now that Ilford C41 black and white is almost a bit of a outlier. It's like a bit of I just wish, like, I've got my X Pro 2, the film simulation I always use is classic chrome, it's called, and it gives that real nice kind of chromey look. So yeah, more films available like that. Cool.
So I just feel like I would still consider myself new to film photography, as well as obviously shooting digital and whatnot. But when it comes to film photography, there's so much out there that I haven't tried that is available. I'm not really going to worry too much about what isn't available.
Yeah,
You know, there's hundreds that I haven't tried. So I don't know, especially with Analog Wonderland. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can go on there and you put in it together a little order, your normal stuff, so you know, your normal stuff, so to speak, and then you might just randomly buy something else just to try it out. I feel like I'm at that point. Do you know what I mean? I'm not.
Yeah, that's like the wonder box, isn't it? That's why.
Exactly, it's great.
Think about any. I don't have a particular affinity for any film at the moment.
Yeah.
I do really like that Vision 3 Kodak film, the tungsten film, but you get some interesting results if you shoot it in, I don't know, from like overcast days and things like that. So it's quite a nice colour film for when you're not in a bright sunny day. I've got some examples of that I can put up on the screen now. And that's quite a cool one. And then, I just think there's so much to try. I quite like the idea of just having one film that you like and not standing in front of my fridge for 5 minutes when I want to go out and take photos going, well, I've had that for quite a while, but I don't want to shoot it yet. I want to save it.
It depends on what equipment you use as well, though. Because, like, for me, like, I went out and did some street photography the other day. Just walking around. So it depends on the camera I was using. So if I know the camera, I know that I can kind of afford to experiment a little bit because I know what my camera can do. But if it's something that I haven't used too much, then I don't want to, you know, I'll probably just put some Colour Plus through it because I know what Colour Plus looks like. So then if I mess up using the camera or the lens, or if I'm trying something new, whatever it might be, I know what the film's going to produce. So I don't want to put a £12 roll of through film that I've never used before in just a throwaway situation or something that I don't really care too much about the results. If it's a planned shoot, then, you know, or if I've got something in mind that I deliberately want to shoot, then that's when you think, oh, what film should I use? But yeah, I think if you're just going out casually, I don't know, there's enough cheaper options that I feel like I can just pick up and go to.
Yeah, I think what I would like more options of is like high speed colour film, like above 800 even, because you want to go and shoot, but when it gets a bit darker, not so much at the moment. Now we're getting like the sun's coming out more, but over the winter, I wish there was more stuff like Cinestill, but what isn't tungsten film. It's stuff that you go out in the evening or in the day when it's really grey and gloomy and shoot some cool colour stuff and get some different like types of shots. That's why I bought that Vision 3 film. So I just thought I'll see what it looks like, and it looks really cool. It's quite eerie. It gives some nice weird sort of results and that. Yeah, otherwise, I don't know.
There's a lot out there, isn't there? Tell us what you think. Drop a comment or whatever the deal is. Drop a comment. Let us know what film you like, why, or if there's anything you can't get hold of, what it would be. Right, next question. What is the first thing that catches your eye about a photograph? For me, it's different because it depends what photo it is. So if it's like a landscape, I'm just captivated by the landscape. Do you know what I mean? I look for like layers. But what I know about what I personally like when I look at any photograph, or, you know, if it's a portrait, obviously you've got a subject in the photo, or if it's something to do with street photography, then there's usually like a subject, unless it's like black and white. But if I look at a photo quicker than just a glimpse at it, and I look at it and go, oh, that's a cool photo, and it makes me want to kind of zoom in and look at the detail of the photo, then that's what I would consider a good photo to me. If I'm drawn to it to look at it further in more detail, but usually from the outgo, it's just something in the photo or the colours. But again, if it's black and white, then I'm looking at the whole thing. I'm looking at what's going on in every corner. Do you know what I mean? How it's being used. But yeah, colour, I just want just want bright, nice colours. If I can imagine standing there, then yeah, that's good to me.
Yeah, I think
that's the same with digital or film.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of when it's colour, let's say like a landscape, I almost want it to look not like a photograph. Like some people have the ability to take landscape images that almost look like paintings or look a bit more otherworldly or something. And that's what really catches my eye. I'm not the biggest fan of like landscape work. Certainly not. It's not something I see and go, oh, I want to do that type of photography. I reckon I will one day, but like when I'm like, I'm gonna say when I'm 50, but I'm gonna say like maybe 70. But you know, when I'm a bit less mobile, perhaps.
But so I'm the opposite on that. So landscape really appeals to me because I don't know, maybe it's the bit that wants me to get out and go somewhere. Do you know what I mean? So like if I see a nice landscape photo, it makes me want to go explore. It either makes me want to be there in that photograph, and if it's a good photo to me, it resembles exactly what it looks like if you were stood there taking the photo, or it motivates me to go out and explore some things, even if it's round near where I live.
Yeah, I guess I want to see landscape stuff that isn't what I normally see. So to me, looking out over a load of fields and trees and skies is a bit dull, but that's because
you see it every day.
There, like I have back into a field and I can see it. So yeah, it's a bit of I want to see like mountains or that sort of thing. I suppose the stuff that normally catches my eye is like really, really good street stuff because that's what I like. But like inventive work that I think that's, I wish I'd take a shot like that. I wish that I'd have, see something that I think I would have missed that shot because I wouldn't have seen that scene unfold or something like that. The guy who I mention all the time is Edith Wong, who just does these really funny images that there can be nobody in the picture, but it's how he's lined up a staircase with an advert on the wall and it looks like someone's climbing the stairs or just something as simple as that. When you look at it, you kind of go, I think if you weren't a photographer and you showed somebody that picture who wasn't a photographer, they might go, yeah, okay.
There's nothing there,
But as a photographer, you look at it and go, to notice that is really, really clever.
No, I agree.
Like, somebody might see it and go, it looks like, I get it, looks like there's a person climbing the stairs, but it's an advert, like, but it's like to explain, but that's such a hard thing to spot. To me, that's like genius level stuff.
I feel like that's where I want to go with a bit more like with street photography because I feel like I'm at the point now where I'll go out with the camera or go out with my little Ricoh, whatever it might be, film or digital again. And I kind of, I've done it with you, like we stand around kind of waiting for something or I see like a nice scene and I'm like, this will make a nice photo. And then I'm waiting for something to happen or waiting for someone to sit on a bench or walk around the corner or walk into a bit of light because I've already framed the shot. But then the kind of street photography that I'm appealed to is more capturing that moment, regardless if it's technically a good photo or not. Do you know what I mean? If something happens and you're quick enough to pull up the camera, take a photo, and you're never going to see that again, no matter how long you kind of wait around for, I think that's good. Going back to people that we like, I know they're ambassadors, but Yoshi and Christian do that really well. I know they're at protests, so it's a little bit, point and shoot kind of atmosphere, but still every one of their photos, I'm like, you're never going to reenact that again. Do you know what I mean? They're capturing expressions on people's faces or something happening. And that's definitely inspiring.
Just saying that as we record this on whatever day, and what's the date today? Monday the 26th. So some stuff that I was putting up yesterday from the, I'm gonna say, anti-mask, anti-vaccine something protest. Just amazing.
Yeah.
Really powerful images.
Yeah.
Pretty brutal in parts on both sides, from the police and the protesters. And again, it's like a testament to his unbiased work.
But he puts out like a set of photos, like a series of photos, and they all work really well together. But I'd be happy to take one of those photos. Do you know what I mean? And I'd be like, yeah, this is a standalone piece of work that I'm happy to put out there. But to put a series together like that, yes, it's awesome.
Yeah, really, really cool. So yeah, I think when you're talking about like black and white stuff, it's more you're looking for more like form and composition, more of an artistic approach, I think.
Yeah, it's hard though, isn't it? Because if I shoot black and white, like street photography black and white, the first thing I'm looking for is light, like, you know, shadow lines or anything like that. Yeah. And then I'm just hoping something will happen in that space. So you kind of just wait around. Yeah. But when you haven't got that luxury, if something's happening quick and you just have to snap away, that's why I appreciate the photos more. But it's different with different types of photography. I know we're just talking like street at the moment, but yeah, still, it's how you work the camera, isn't it?
Well, when you've got, I think that's where it does come down to a difference between digital and film, because I'm more of I've got, you know, just loads of different types of film in the fridge, and it's just whatever I decide to pick up that day. Yeah. And sometimes that might be down to, I shot one roll of black and white that's 400 ISO, and I've got another one, and I know that I can develop two at once. So that might be, it's just an arbitrary reason why I decide to pick up a film, because I know that I can then develop it at the same time as the other film. So that might be why I'm out with a black and white film that day. I didn't necessarily take it out because I was like, that's going to be perfect for the type of shots I'm going to get. So I'm just out with a camera that happens to have a black and white film in it. But when I see digital work, it's black and white, and I'm assuming you shot it in RAW, so you can edit it however you want. I feel like there's got to be a reason why you edit it black and white. So it's a little, it doesn't have to be, but I would like to see it be black and white for a reason beyond I like it in black and white.
Yeah.
That's quite arrogant to say as well, because some people just like editing their images in black and white. But again, I said about it before, it is sometimes the easy option. Like that photo I've got on my wall right in front of me. Can I get it? From Josh Francis. I think it's a good example of like that. I feel like a lot of people, that would be in black and white.
Yeah, but he's left that colour in, he's chose to leave it in.
Yeah, and it's not, and like I love colour images, and I think that would have been such an easy option to really darken those shadows and to make it all black and white. But I'm so glad that it isn't. It's perfect like that.
That's a whole other debate, isn't it? Black and white or colour, isn't it?
People can do whatever they want, like, no matter what I say. But like, I love to see colour images done really well. And I really, like you, I like to see punchy colours. Just going back to films as well, that Kiro 400 produces lovely colours, but Madison talked about it briefly on her video, and I commented on it on YouTube, and somebody messaged me saying that Kiro, it's just Fuji Superior repackaged. I was like, okay. Fuji Superior is 26 exposures instead of 27, and it costs about half the price.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, I don't know if it's true or not, but it does kind of.
Let us know if you know.
Yeah, I did look it up, and I found some other blogs where people were like, "Yeah, it's just this film." So I was going to buy some, but it's the Wonder Box coming next week. So You know,
See what's in that. Maybe you'll get a role.
See what flyers are in your Wonderbox next week as well.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Check out. Cool. So next question then. What is it? Favourite bands. But I'll open it up to music in general, I reckon.
What do you mean? Favourite music?
Favourite music. Musicians, artists, bands.
Yeah.
Rappers. Yeah. This is a bit like our quickfire question on the podcast, isn't it?
It's a horrible question to answer, really, isn't it?
It depends what you're into the day, I reckon. It's hard, though. One of my favourite all-time musicians is Ludovico Arnaudi, the classical piano player. But I listen to him every day. I've got him on pretty much all his songs on a playlist, and I used to listen to him to go to sleep. Don't know if you ever heard of him, but he's just a pianist, Italian pianist. But have you ever watched This Is England?
Yeah.
TV show. He does a lot of the soundtrack for that.
Oh, so he's a modern day.
Yeah, he's still around now. Yeah. He's I was always like, he's played in the UK a handful of times since I've discovered him. Like I've listened to him for probably 10 plus years, and I always wanted to get tickets to go and see him, but I was too scared to do it because I associate him with sleeping. So I wouldn't want to go see him and fall asleep. Do you know what I mean? I'd be like, oh, that's a waste of 50 quid.
Some kind of auto response to
yeah. So I just feel, because honestly, I can put on a playlist. I'll set it on Spotify. I'll put sleep timer for 20 minutes. But if I get through one song, I'm pretty happy that like if I'm still awake by then, that's an achievement.
Right. I've got a similar thing, I guess, with Brian Eno.
Yeah.
I love Brian Eno, but also I do use, there's one album in particular that I use if I can't sleep. So yeah, maybe I'd have the same response.
Yeah. That would be my classical. That would be my classical choice.
To throw in there, that's not entirely dissimilar thing. Who's one of my favourite like modern day artists is John Hopkins. Well, he's been releasing albums for about 20 years, but has really probably come into his own for his last few albums. And he is a classically trained pianist, but he produces like kind of dance music, I guess you would call it, as a loose term, kind of techno.
Electronic kind of vibe.
It's electronic, yeah. Sometimes it veers towards like techno, sometimes it's more kind of housey. It's always very emotional and there's a lot of feeling in it. And I think that comes from him being, classically trained. His albums really, they run a huge course of like usually start off quite dancey or like techno kind of sounding, and will end up really just maybe with like solo piano pieces kind of weaved in through it. It's incredible music by an incredibly talented musician, and he is I've seen him a few times live, and I've got tickets. It's been cancelled twice now because of COVID.
Oh, really?
And it's currently on for November, and it's one of them ones I was just like, I was thinking if it was anyone else at this point, I'd just get my money back and then try and buy the ticket again. But this is like, he's playing at the Royal Albert Hall. He's doing this show that he's never done before. He did about half the tour just over a year ago and had to cut it short because of COVID.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad in a way that the show that I had tickets for was after the lockdown, because I think I'd have been a bit too worried to go pre-lockdown. Remember what stuff was like in March last year.
Back then.
So, and venues didn't know what to do, musicians didn't know what to do. Do they cancel, and are they liable for, the costs and all that kind of thing? So people were still playing shows really close to that. I think it was the 23rd of March when we went into lockdown. But yeah, I've got tickets to see him, and I cannot wait. Like, seeing some of the footage from it, and it's what you get from his albums more than his previous live shows, which have been way more focused. It's like him and a sampler and his computer, and it's really, you know, full on kind of dance music. And then this is more like, some of it's just solo piano pieces, but also he's got like lasers and stuff like that, which to see all of that at the Royal Albert Hall would be, will be awesome whenever.
Who did you go see that you sent me the video of? Fortet one.
So he did a show, he did a series of nights at the Village Underground in Shoreditch, where he had this company called Squid Soup, who are a lighting company, and they have all these lights on. It's like a bit of string and then a light, a bit, well, not string, but you know, it's that sort of thing hanging down from the ceiling, but it literally hangs down to your knees, and then they're all synced up in time with the music. So it's like this totally immersive light show, but then he brought it back to do at Alexandra Palace. So I had tickets for that, and oh man, that was amazing. He's such a like special musician. Everything he does is just fucking gold. It's like so good.
I think I saw Block Party there.
Oh, when they did their
yeah, this was years ago, but even so, the light show that they had just on the stage like was awesome, and you just think, oh, this is the perfect venue for that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a great venue, and also because you come in from the side, it's quite easy. People kind of get scattered around the room quite easily.
Yeah.
That's quite nice. When Fortet played, he was in the middle, and literally there was no way for him to get to the stage. He just had to walk through the crowd, and he walked right next to me in his bright pink t-shirt, and like it was so cool. But it's a really good venue. I saw the Prodigy there in like 2015, and I'm a massive fan of them. Even like the last couple of albums, I think, are amazing. I think they kind of went down in a lot of people's estimation, but they're still such a good band, and I'm hoping that they continue to release music in the wake of, you know, Keith Flint dying. It's one of them ones that like
apparently Keith Flint, and I don't know how true this is, but I'm sure they used to drink in Northampton every now and then. They'd go to the racehorse and drink there.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. Again, that's from a friend of a friend of a friend information, but it's a random thing to make up, isn't it? I saw him at Reading maybe 2012 sort of time. I think they headlined, or one of the headline acts, and it was unbelievable. Like,
I saw them when I was 14 in 1997, just after Fat of the Land had come out, and it's one of the best things I've ever seen. Like one of the best. I've probably got about 20 the greatest shows I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But
when you hear music live, it's a different feeling though. So if you know someone's music, if you go and see them live and they put on a good show, you just get a different vibe from it altogether, don't you?
It was so filthy and just so over the top, and like it was incredible. They were like the biggest band in the world at the time, and it was insane. It was so good. But yeah, my all-time favorite bands is I would say it's quite a hard question to answer.
Well, we're not limited to the top three, which is quite nice.
Because I'm quite like weird about stuff like this, is I have lists on my phone of like my favourite things. And
top sevens.
Top seven, like so my favourite bands of all time. It's a really boring answer, but my favourite band of all time is Nirvana. Just because that's what I grew up listening to. And I know like it's such a
cliche kind of answer.
At least it's not the Beatles. Any Beatles fans out there, but they suck. See,
I grew up with the Beatles. Like, it's my mum's favourite band.
They don't at all, do they? But hate it. I just not something. Even when I was little, or younger, teenager, my mates would listen to it. I always loved the Beach Boys. They're one of my all-time favourites, and it always was like, Beach Boys are so much better. But
yeah, see, I grew up with like, the Beatles, Michael Jackson, and then my mum was really like, my mum and dad were both mods, so like back in the day, so I kind of went into like the punk kind of vibe a little bit, but then like I also grew up with like 80s disco, and I couldn't give you a favourite band as such, just because I love it all. But I don't know, what was the first album you ever bought? Like knowingly bought, like, because I grew up as a kid listening to like, Now 21 or whatever, whatever number it was on. But I'm talking about subconsciously went to the shop to buy.
So I know the first ones. So the answer to that is predictably Nirvana, Nevermind. But the first albums I actually bought, and I can't remember which order, but I think the first one that I remember wanting was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles soundtrack, which I've still got on vinyl. And then the second one was the Aladdin soundtrack, which is full of bangers, and it's an amazing album. But I didn't actually get it. We were in the shop, and my sister went, "Oh, my friend's got that. I'll just get them to record it for you." And my mum was like, "Oh yeah, just do that. I'm not spending $5.99 on this," or whatever it was. And I never actually got it, but so I suppose that doesn't count really.
If anyone's got that and wants to send it over to Luke, then please do.
You know what? I did get it in the end. I remember, because I learned all the lyrics to all the songs because they were printed on the inlay card of the tape. And again, tapes suck, and I wish they weren't making it.
There's a part of me that does miss recording radio stations to try and make the perfect playlist on cassette.
Yeah, I do.
Walk around with your Walkman.
I sort of remember that fondly, but like, so the first time, the Foo Fighters, who awesome band, whatever they're doing nowadays, it's not for me. But the first, 4, 5, 6 albums, I love them. After their first album came out, and there was world exclusive play of what was going to be their first single off the second album, which was Monkey Wrench. It was getting played on Radio 1. And again, this was like 1997, so you couldn't just go online and hear it afterwards. But I was going to my swimming lessons, so I had to put a tape in, press record, go swimming, come home. It was a 2-hour radio show and a 90-minute tape, so I just had to hope
that you'd got it.
Yeah, and then I had to get home and listen to an hour and a half of it and luckily it was on there, and I must have listened to that song like just hundreds and hundreds of times. And
that's a different generation, isn't it? Because like when I grew up, it was. So I bought my first album in '99, which was Dr. Dre 2001.
Nice, yeah.
But obviously it came out in '99. But that was the same time as I started skateboarding. Yeah. And it kind of went hand in hand with that kind of culture. And then I started secondary school, and we were still on cassettes or CD players. Then mini disc players came out for 5 minutes and they disappeared. And then all of a sudden you had CDs everywhere. But Dre 2001, that was my first album.
That's wow. Okay, it's a cool answer.
But I was super stoked at the time because my parents, like, they never really gave a shit about me watching 18 films or what I listened to. They encouraged me to go and do what I wanted. Yeah. And I got the Dre 2001, and so did my friend at the time. His name's also Luke, but his parents did give a shit about that kind of thing. And he got the explicit version. The parental guidance version, which is just shocking. Like, I don't know why you'd ever choose to buy that.
I remember that
anything.
I got the first Eminem album, and my mum, again, she didn't really care. She went to town and bought it for me when I was at school. So I'll pick it up, and then she got me the non-explicit version, and it's unlistenable. It's just terrible because it doesn't flow properly. It's horrible. So again, this is a sign of the times. I couldn't. So I went to the library, rented for 30p the explicit version of the Eminem album, and kept the CD of that, and returned the clean version.
Oh, nice.
But the explicit version from the library was scratched, so I had to make a decision. So I wanted
do you risk it?
But it's all censored. So yeah, unfortunately, I'm sorry, Northamptonshire County Libraries, but I returned the wrong disc. I think the other bands I have to mention as favourite bands is like LCD Sound System, and Underworld, which is a band who are so much more than Lager. Although that's an amazing song, but they are an incredible band. A couple of years ago, they released a new song every single week for a year, which is quite a feat. And I've seen them live so many times. They're just incredible. They're just the best band. Like one of my.
I remember we used to listen to them a lot when we worked together.
Yeah.
We might have even spoke about them briefly in that.
Right, yeah. When we used to have playlists on at work.
So I feel like that was like the LCD Sound System, Metronomy, that kind of thing. That was all kind of like, it was the new wave of music that was kind of coming out. I don't know, not an expert in that field, but do you know what I mean? It kind of felt like electronic music was coming out and making its stamp. The industry, do you know what I mean? Because there was a lot of stuff, wasn't there? There was like dubstep, and it kind of went from that, and then you had like indie, and then it kind of transitioned nicely from indie into electronic music. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I quite like about stuff now, is that there's before, when it was like Britpop, which people who don't remember it look back on it fondly. It's like it was quite boring a lot of the time, because there was so many shit bands. It wasn't just all like Oasis and Blur, obviously. There was loads of other bands, and so much of it hasn't stood the test of time. And a lot of the time, there was so much shit banded around. And now you can listen to anything new of any genre, which can be a blessing and a curse. But it's great that you're like, I love techno, and I can just find any new techno stuff.
There's so much new stuff, you can't listen to it all. And I think that's in any field, yeah.
It doesn't matter what the radio is playing. I can go online and look at labels that I like and listen to new stuff, and using Bandcamp for like artists that you've never heard of, and you can then actually just buy the thing directly from them and give them a couple of quid, and that sort of thing is really nice.
I'm sure we can talk about music all day, but
I'll give a shout out to Nailbreaker, a Northampton musician who I love, and
we'll give a shout out to Slow Tie as well, because I feel like he's done wonders for Northampton as well.
Yeah, he definitely needs our help. Let's give him a shout out.
Yeah. I went to his Nothing Great About Britain, his like first full album release. I went to the pub, and he chose to do it at the pub. Like,
you were that, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, it was awesome. And then randomly Skepta showed up for like the last song. Like, but I don't know, it was rare, because like you kind of see him in the pub from time to time, I guess. But yeah, he's still very true to his roots, which is cool.
At the end of last year, oh no, it wasn't, was it? End of the year before, he did a show. He came after he'd blown up. Came and did a show at the Romender in Northampton.
Yeah.
And Mike Skinner was there, played there, and like, what's that band called? Again, one of these bands a band, Brockhampton or something?
Oh, Brockhampton, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I like Brockhampton.
It's not for me, but they played and like with him. But I really wanted to go, and none of my mates wanted to go. Everyone I was asking was like, oh, no. I even put a thing on my Instagram stories saying, I don't want to go to this thing on my own, but like I can get 2 tickets for it. And one of my mates, I text loads of people. One of my mates replied and said, "Oh yeah, if you can get tickets,
I'll go.
I'll come." And then they were good. They were gone. I couldn't get them anymore. And then on the night of the show, I was like, oh, I was really annoyed that I wasn't there. Put my phone away. Put a film on. It's like a 2-hour film. About 10 minutes after the film started, but I didn't see it for about 2 and a bit hours. He texted me saying, "Oh, I've got us on the guest list. I'll meet you there."
What?
And I didn't see that until about 11:30 at night, and at which point I'd missed it all. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And yeah, so I totally missed out on what looked like a really awesome show. Yeah, that was pretty gutting. But yeah, slow tie. It's cool, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah, 100%.
But it doesn't need our support.
No, not at all.
The Nail Breaker is one. Do you know him?
Say again?
You heard Nail Breaker?
No.
All right. Okay. Well, I'll put a link in for him. It's kind of like noisecore, Death Grips type rap. But he's amazing. Does such cool stuff. So yeah, it's pretty weird.
Cool. Well, last question then. Well, we had a few questions, but we just thought these were the most diverse ones. This one's back to photography, and is photography your only creative outlet?
So sort of back to photography, but also not.
But also, yeah, didn't read it properly. I just read the word photography.
So yeah, well,
I think we've both got different outlets, haven't we?
Yeah. What?
I skateboard.
Yeah.
And I walk my dog. I've always skateboarded. I know I've spoke about that before.
Yeah, but it's pretty good.
It's still something I'm very much passionate about, even if I don't do it as much as I would like to. But yeah, it's still something I follow on a daily basis.
It's a cool like skate scene in Northampton, isn't there?
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah, because we've got we had Radlands Skate Park here, and now we've got Radlands Plaza, which is in honour of the skate park. And that was, so when I started skating, it was '99, and we had the World Championships here in Northampton at Radlands, which was, when you're a little kid, that's probably the best thing ever.
Yeah. Because that's where I am when I used to skate when I was a teenager, and I really hurt myself and just kind of went, get it. I'm not doing it. But I want to start doing it again.
Yeah, I remember you messaging me saying, because you want to get your kid aboard, don't you?
So I'm going to get one, but I'm just looking around to see what I want, and then plucking up the courage to be a man approaching 40, getting on a skateboard for the first time in about 20 years. But I still wear the same clothes. So
yeah, that's it. But now it's like a trend, isn't it? Well, I suppose skateboarding's kind of, without getting too deep, skateboarding's always kind of led somewhat of the way in terms of fashion, hasn't it? There's been some bold moves, but at the same time, how many people wear Vans nowadays, or Supreme, or do you know what I mean? Palace.
When I was a kid, like, you couldn't buy Vans, and other than out of the back of, like, remember Sidewalk Surfer? That magazine, and like Thrasher and stuff like that. That's where you bought Vans from. You didn't buy them from fucking ASOS or whatever the equivalent was. Certainly didn't buy stuff like that in Topshop. That doesn't exist anymore. But Topshop was not cool back in the 90s. Not for men anyway.
Yeah. Well, we were just talking about the film, weren't we? Mid-90s, the movie before this, which is awesome. I've talking to Sidewalk Surfer. He got to shorten to Sidewalk without geeking out too much. But I've got a couple of magazines still, a couple of Sidewalk magazines, just like my favourite ones that I've got like the covers on. But I threw so many away, not thinking that Sidewalk would ever disappear. Like, I was too young to kind of understand the business side of it. But yeah, I'm so glad I've still got a couple of copies.
Yeah,
same as Thrasher, but Thrasher's still going.
What's the guy called from Northampton? Rob somebody.
Rob Selly.
Yeah, he was quite.
Rob Selly's. He was. He's actually still got one of my DVDs. I lent him a DVD, yeah, and it's got him on it. And he was like, "Oh shit, I haven't seen that in a long time." So I was like, oh, "Here you go, mate." And to this day, he's still got it. But yeah. Selly's sound is like obviously very legendary around here in Milton Keynes in terms of the skateboarding scene.
Yeah, I used to see him at Radlands when I used to go there, and that was always really cool because then
still wears the baggies of clothes even today. And what about you?
Music, I guess, is there's some of my stuff. There's like my synthesizers and my synths and a bass, and I've got to like play the drums, but like I've just got a little electronic drum kit to practice on at home. But and I play guitar and play in a couple of bands and that, and put music out. Just started putting like a load of stuff out of my own.
You should definitely drop a link to your band's
various
vlog video.
Oh, the Bleeding Antlers.
I feel like that could be its whole own video, but it's already documented, so you could just drop a link.
Well, that was so that documentary / fake documentary was made by a photographer called Mark Latham. So I'll drop a link to his profile and stuff. But he came with us on the legendary Stag Do / our first proper gig at some festival. So I'll put a link to that in. But like, I'm playing a punk band as well with a couple of my mates, and then do my own stuff. Did an album a few years ago, but it was like 10 years ago now. I had my own album come out, and then do my own stuff. And that's actually the theme tune to our podcast is a little snippet of one of my songs.
Yeah, I think that's a cool little shout out to yourself there. No, but I mean, like it's not something that we've got from anywhere or paid for a sample or anything. That is our own stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll put a link to it in there because I just started checking some stuff up on Bandcamp that I've had sitting on my computer for years, or new stuff that I've been making. So that was quite nice to start doing. I was talking to my brother about it, who puts stuff up on Bandcamp, and I was like, and then what? What happens after you put it on Bandcamp? He was like, nothing. Just record some more stuff and put it on Bandcamp.
Yeah, let us know what your other creative outlets are, or if you've got any more questions or anything like that. Drop us a message. Yeah,
it would be interesting to hear from people who consider photography to be a creative outlet. Hear what else they do, whether it's like any sort of design or like, because I do graphic design for a job, don't consider it a creative outlet. I'm like, it's just work. So, but I'm always interested in seeing people like Vicky who do graphic design creatively.
That's my missus, by the way.
Like the stuff that she started doing for her personal stuff is really cool, and it's just like it's way beyond anything that I would ever do.
She goes through stages as well, because like she's a graphic designer in the day, so that's a paid 9-to-5 job, and then she's still motivated to do her own stuff. As well as various other outlets as well. So it's definitely an interesting one. So
they all the ones we're going to answer today.
Yeah, we could do. We'll put out another Q&A. Some of the questions were kind of similar, and I know we've kind of deep dived into each question, but we'll do another one. We're
going to do 20 minutes on this, weren't we?
Yeah, and it's been over an hour now.